Hello, hello, welcome back. It's me, Dreaming Tabitha, once again. Here I am. How's everybody doing this evening, this nice Thursday evening? Trying to get back on schedule, trying to get back to the way we used to do things here on the internet. Let me know, like I did before, let me know if the music is too loud. Can you hear me okay? Am I coming through all right? Just let me know. I want to make sure it's a warm and comfortable place for you guys, for sure. I just want to click on these things, make sure I've got everything the way it needs to be. But yes, I'm coming back, and I'm coming back strong to color. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Please give this stream a like if you're ready to get started and you know the good stuff that's about to happen inside this wonderful, awesome book. Just kind of a recap. Do you know that it's actually been a long time since I actually even opened up this book? I may have forgotten some of the creatures that we created here. And so I want to dive in and just kind of go over that again. I know that typically we do that. I kind of go through the books. That's always in case there's somebody new in the chat. But I am so excited to dive in here again and try to remember what was the last creature that we did. Now, I'll be honest, I did crack open this book to see because I needed to be prepared. I had several different ideas of what I was going to do. And so anyway, let's just get started. Let's just do a little walkthrough. So again, somebody gave me this book. One of you awesome subscribers sent this to me. And so Feagle Feigl, our first dragon that we ever did. I don't want to take too long going back in this book. I want to get started with our other stuff. But Tuerto, this was, if you caught me on Rogue Attraction, Tome, all the names that he has. If you caught me on his show earlier, my friend over there, my gal pal, Nomi Without You, she actually inspired this taco food truck dragon is what we did. So cool. I love him. And then, my favorite, Carl and Guts. How could I forget? I still need to redo Carl. I love him, but this is not the color palette that I envisioned for him. And so we'll redo that. And then we did Carl and Guts again. And it's Moby. Oh, I do remember Moby and the stories that we created for these characters. I'm excited. Like, let's do it again, fam. Let's do it again. But I think I skipped a page. Oh, it's Gus. I forgot about Gus. Oh, gosh. What was his... He was a quackalin. Oh, my gosh. I forgot about him. He was a quackalin. He's a mix of a pangolin and a crocodile and apparently like a duck. Yeah. Moby, who's... Oh, Kiffin! Oh, he's another favorite. I love this weird koala weird toad. That was what he was called, like a derogatory sense. But he was a stone bear, an ours du roche. That's what it was, an ours du roche. Some kind of fancy French word. Kiffin! We're going to have to go back and read these stories again one day. We don't have time for that tonight. Oh, and then there's the bad guy that I wanted. If I remember correctly, this was a land without humans, that humans used to live here. It's Miss Martin Muses. Good to see you. Hello. Just kind of going over all this stuff. Trying to refresh my mind on how we did things around here. He was half Chiropentherus. So he's half of Carl's kind. And then he's trying to become human because he thinks, I think I got this story right, because he thought that the humans were the ultimate source of power, and he wanted that, but it corrupted him somehow. And we had a conflict of his name. It was between Solomon and Mazdor. Oh. And I remember you guys are the ones that helped me create the names for these creatures, so good on you. I like these. And then I did a random Dragonite. It looks like I never finished. The Udao. Pink Pam helped come up with the name for this, along with the rest of you guys. Binzi was her name. Binzi. And she's an Udao. I really love this creature. It's a beautiful looking. Oh, there was something about... I see here. I totally forgot what I even did with this character. She's got like some horns. She's got like blind looking eyes, a little goatee, fins, of course. And then this opening here. And that's right. Something about this creature was that... Something about returning to the place where they gave birth, and that gives them a special ability. I think, I haven't read all this stuff, I have to go through again, but something about being able to what was it? Almost like they're able to be gifted some kind of special vision, I think it was, if they return to the oasis or to the pool where they were birthed. Something along these lines. And then, this is what we're working on tonight, guys. I thought as a nice comeback, a nice introduction to the channel for anybody who's new, we would continue creating this creature here. I think it was, I haven't read this, so we're gonna go back here. And John, good to see you. Awesome imagination. Thank you. Space Jockey. As Mrs. R2 the Icky. Welcome back, little Spidey and I missed your art scene. Well, they are coming back, Mrs. R2, and you tell little Spidey to get himself prepared because that secret thing that he and his father, like his father and I were talking about, getting that done. We're gonna get it done. It's good to be back. I know it's been a long time. So let's revisit. So we talked about his name. This is Dastian, the Wayward Pilgrim. Oh, now that already sounds really cool. The Wayward Pilgrim. I see under here it says or wandering, and apparently I really like that. But going back, I like the Wayward Pilgrim because pilgrims usually have a destination, and this is a wayward pilgrim. Why is Dastian wayward? Let's dive in, shall we? There are two bloodlines, and again, I don't remember any of this stuff. There are two bloodlines of the Volans, the Clastons, and the Valanese. Dastian is too Dastian is too colorful, thereby bringing danger to the sister clan. He has the ability to sense danger, but having grown up in the wrong clan, he was never taught how to engage with this ability. Ooh. Dang, chat. Like, we came up with a pretty awesome story here, if I do say so myself. The war or the division between living behind in the chaos with the sister clan of the Clastine. He's called the Wandering Pilgrim in search of his people. Whoa! We came up with a pretty good story here. It looks like we still have some space, so if we want to keep going with this story, we can. If we want to fill this in, you guys let me know, because we are building this world, building this story together, which is one of my favorite things because I love creativity. You guys know that. I mean, that's all what my channel is really about, art and creativity. And I've been doing a couple of different things on the channel. Let me get some colors. Let's start coloring while I talk. And hi, say Brett. How are you? I know it's been a while. It's good to see you. But yeah, and also like John Thomas says, hit the like button if you don't mind. I'd appreciate that greatly. Let me see. Let's try to remember. Okay, let's go with this color palette. What are we doing? It's like this colorful moth thing. And I've brought, like, I have coloring pencils like everywhere. You can't see them all, but I've got some here. I've got some like over here, and then there's a whole nother one like way over to the side over here. My eye is immediately gravitating towards the screen, so let's sharpen her up. And let me just catch you up a little bit on life. I do hope that everybody's doing well. I know a lot can change. A lot can change in a couple of months. And let's see, I need something to swatch. Green paper won't do. Well, you know what? This was meant to be a field guide for our story, so I'm just going to swatch up in here. I like it. Okay, let's make this nice and rich. Yeah. So a lot can happen in a couple of months, right? And by the way, if you have any suggestions, this was supposed to be a piece of wood, if I remember correctly, to use as a breastplate or something like that. So if you got any ideas of how we should color him, like what kind of color hair do you think this guy should have? Let me know. But yeah, a lot can happen in a couple of months. A lot has happened for me. I don't want to get into too many personal things here on the internet, but I I had some life changes that came up, and so they took all of my attention, and there was nothing I could do. Um, had to do with family, and you guys know family comes first. So I had to kind of put a lot of different things on hold. You may have noticed, of course, that I didn't have quite as many live streams, and that a lot of my videos started turning into shorts predominantly. Now, part of this was because trying to understand YouTube, am I right? Like for smaller content creators and even for bigger ones, some people that I've talked to, this game is not for the faint of heart. And so, in this journey in the past couple of months, I've been trying to figure out what to do with the channel, how to proceed, what is the end goal and things like that, on top of having, life changes. And it's interesting. I started noticing a lot of, obviously, the more you look for something on the internet, the more the trends in your algorithm and everything like that. And just kind of seeing where other artists were at when it came to YouTube and their channels. And they were saying a lot was changing. And they were saying that, well, there was a similarity between all these channels, big channels, little channels. They were just all artist channels, right? And they're basically saying that there's nothing wrong with trying to win the game, if you will, as far as YouTube is concerned. Trying to beat the system, fight the power, gain the subs and the likes and whatever. But they started noticing that they were kind of losing themselves in their creativity. That their creativity was becoming geared towards numbers more than it was about art. And I can honestly say that for myself as well. Because you, of course, always want to strive and see success, but it's like, what does that look like for each person? Some it's popularity, some it's financial gain, some it's just the numbers and the bragging rights and everything like that. And, I kind of had to take a step back and look at it. And I heard some really great advice just the other day it's so funny, from an artist that I followed on Instagram like a year or two ago, I would say. And I think I'm going to continue with this green. I'm really liking this green. I'm probably going to put some flashes of other colors in here as well. But how am I, Brett? I'm doing much better now. Being able to kind of, like I was saying, with artwork, kind of reevaluating. Why am I doing, I'm trying to get a long story short, which is not easy for me to do, I'll admit. I'm doing better because I'm starting to try to focus more on my art, but at the same time, putting it on YouTube and using social media. Trying to get new artwork out there for the sake of artwork, not necessarily for the sake of views. Of course, that's the never-ending battle, right? You need the views to get the attention, but it's like, are you getting this? One artist was really interesting. She said, but something she needed to realize, and for all the rest of us artists out there, who are the people that you are trying to get this attention from? And she said, it was so great. She's like, I got up to 200,000 followers on Instagram, and we're all like, oh, that's awesome. She's like, but then I started seeing a dip in my numbers. And she's like, of course, that's heart-wrenching. She's like, but the problem was that she's like, I realized that no matter how many followers I was gaining, she's like, they weren't buying my art. And she said, and they really weren't interested in my art. She said they were more gravitating towards the videos that she was making of silly things, right? Not so much the art. And she's like, oh, is this really the type of people that I want to attract? Nothing wrong with silly videos and things like that. But she's like, I'm an artist. I'm trying to make a living here. And it just kind of got me to thinking as well, like how to approach things, how to go about it. Everybody's got a different system, and I wish you all well with that. But for those of us who may not be artists, it's an interesting game. So Brett, you ask how I'm doing. I'm doing much better, getting a different game plan, getting in a better place of mind for all my stuff. Decepticons Cave of Comics and Toys. Welcome, hello. Says the book is awesome. Your drawings amazing. Thank you. I think you're amazing for being here. I was afraid I'll be honest with you guys. I was kind of afraid nobody would be here because of the fact that it's been so long. And I know YouTube has a habit of not necessarily, even if you ring the notification bell, which I hope you guys have done, that they don't necessarily notify everybody. Let's see, what happens if I get some bright green? Let's just try it. And so I appreciate you all being here on this nice Thursday. Can you guys believe it's October? For real. It's been a long summer for me, but it was kind of a short summer. Like I said, things took place that I wasn't planning for. And so I had a family member that came into a life crisis, you might say. And like I said, family's everything. And I basically became the caregiver for this member of the family. Happy to do it. But, when you take on a responsibility like that, it means that a lot of your other personal responsibilities come crashing to a halt. And so that's where I've been predominantly for the last couple of months, guys, is I've been taking care of a family member. So I had to work changed, like my day job had to change. My art had to change. Like, that's why you saw mostly shorts on my channel, because I did not have the time to dedicate to this book that we're creating together. I didn't have really a time to dedicate to my chibis like I wished I could have. And you know what? Again, no regrets. Would do it all over again if I had to, because family's important. I'm truly blessed to have the family that I have. And so by golly, I was going to take care of that person and help out in whatever way I could. Brett, that is the sweetest thing ever. I think you're the best artist on YouTube. That's really sweet. Thank you for that. Spartan Flash Sentry. Hello and welcome. Thank you for being here. So we're creating this character. Guys, I was asking your opinion. So since we're creating Destian together, by the way, I love these Faber-Castell pencils. I don't know why I don't use them more often. I typically use Prismacolor. Thank you guys for sending them to me. I typically use Prismacolor, but golly, look at that. I don't know if it translates well on the camera, but here in the real world, this is fantastic. Twigs. It says, ayo, hello. And so like I said, things changing here on the channel. I'm going to try to do some more tutorials and things like that for you, for other people as well. And then still creating my chibis and putting them on Etsy. I'm going to be putting some new ones in the Etsy shop here soon. If you guys seen One Piece, I know it's kind of old news, but art takes time. But have you guys seen Netflix's live action? Oh, sorry about that. Live action One Piece. So I created Luffy. I think I had some prints made earlier. There's my chibi. Isn't it cute? So I'm learning how to color again. I need to change some things up here, but I drew this guy, and this was such a fun show, and I loved it so much. So I did Luffy. I just finished Zoro, and I want to do Mihawk now. Mihawk was like my favorite. And oh my goodness, it's Mrs. Sassy Sasquatch. If you guys don't watch her show, I believe it's every Sunday, you should. This lady, I'm telling you what, I foresee big things in her future on YouTube. She's where it's at, man. It's good to see you. Did I alter the book to look rustic like this? No, it came this way. Isn't that amazing? And look, we have so much to do. We're going to be doing world building and landscapes, storyline. we're creating this world together. Eventually, maybe next week, God willing and all that, we're going to go back over, refresh our memories of some of these characters, and that way we can help with it. Because I actually wanted to progress past the characters, but you guys let me know, because I'm doing this for me, but I'm doing this for you. I want to do this together for us. Should we take a break from character building, like character creation, and focus on the world building? Or should we continue creating these characters, like merging these creatures? I'd like to know. I would love to know what you guys think. Because, like I said, we're building this together. So, do you guys want to see more creature development, or do you want to start working towards landscapes, towns, buildings, and things like that? Let me know. I'd love to know. Live action was legit. It got me into watching the anime. I did kind of go on a small vacation, and I watched a wee bit of the anime, and I heard there's like over 1,000 episodes. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. One Piece is great. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I enjoy her takes on a lot of the different pop culture things. You guys should check out her channel. But yeah, I enjoy making the creatures and stuff like that, for sure. I just didn't know if you guys want to do something different. You guys want to branch out, or are we happy where we're at for now? I can create characters for days. Maybe some more dragon-styled creatures. Or if that's the case, we used to do this, guys, where I would ask you, what are some of the creatures that you would like me to try to blend? Because we did, like Carl. He was, let's see if I get this right. It's been a while. He was part bat, part lion, part cricket. And then, let's see, part bat, lion, I think that's what it was. Part lion, bat, cricket. And then he has this parasitic tail that's part porcupine and octopus tentacle, if I got that correct. Wow. And then, here we go. We already talked about Gus, and then Moby was a mix. He was a mix between, I think, a panda and a goat, and maybe an ox. I think that's the case. And then we had Keffin. Keffin was a koala weirtoad. So we can obviously see it's koala and a toad. Udao Binzi was a mix between a cow and a whale or a seal or something like that. So, and then we got here, obviously, that's right, we didn't really want to do a fairy per se. I wanted it to be a fairy-like creature, but we didn't call them fairies. In this world, they are not called fairies. They are called, what are they called again? Bloodlines they're the Volans. That's what it is. So his species is the Volans. Apparently with a silent P. I'm not sure why. I'm going to have to go back and watch my own live streams again. They have the Clastian and the Velanis. Velanus. So that would be our two groups of people. I remember Moby. Yeah, I liked Moby's story. For sure. It was very intriguing. Frogs. You want me to mix something with a frog there, Twigs? I could do that. It has to be something wild. What would we mix with a frog? Something with big old tree frog eyes. Okay. Maybe with 3 or 4. I was watching the anime before they made live action series, and I think I'm only on season 5. I mean, when you got 1,000 episodes, dude, it's a lot of TV you gotta watch. I mean, how many years is that? I don't know. I'm not really familiar with anime, so I don't know. Is it like, their seasons? Is it once or twice a year? Did they put 3 times a year? Like, my goodness. All right. I'm thinking I'm gonna make his legs kind of a brownish. Let's see what brownish color. Let's start with our lights first. Swatch. Always swatching. Will Smith. Oh, he did not. Will Smith with a frog. Okay. I I was going to take to Twitter the other day, and I'm like, I don't know. Do I really need this in my life? Do I really need some drama? Now, I'm not necessarily picking sides here. Okay. With everything that's going on in the world with him and his family, but I'm just saying, like, I see a lot of people, I see a lot of people. Mrs. Sassy Sasquatch, I'm sure you have an opinion about this. Um, tell me if I'm way off here. I don't follow tabloids and stuff like that. Tell me if I'm way off here, but I just see a lot of people, and I understand, saying, poor Will Smith, poor man has lost his manhood. That woman's got him wrapped around her little finger, and she's evil, and I get it. I'm not advocating on behalf of Mrs. Smith, but I gotta point it out. Isn't this the same man that had eyes for another woman while he was married and had a child? Just throwing that out there. So I'm just like, if that's the case, if his life is none of my business, but since it's out there for the whole world to scrutinize, my curiosity is, why is everybody taking his side? In my opinion, if that is true, then you reap what you sow, friends. Like, I'm sorry that your life is in shambles. I truly am. I hate that the family dynamic is not working out, and there's a lot of issues. Families, like I just said before, families are really important. But it seems to me like you put yourself in this position of disaster, and sorry, but it's you put yourself in this position. I'm not going to throw all the shade and everything on her. Again, she's a horrible person if any of this stuff is true about her. But you made eyes at another woman. And I remember watching an interview with him a couple of years ago. Okay, this came right out of his mouth. Yes, I did get there. He actually said, and he's like, and I was married at the time, and he had a son, and he said, and I remember going to a restaurant, and Jada walked past, and he said, and I'd seen her a couple of times, and he said, and I knew that I was destined to be with that woman. What? Like, he was married and had a child. Okay? And you, like, I mean, I understand about the fact that, like, apparently his ex-wife put in for divorce before he did. But, and again, this is a whole bunch of drama and gossip, but I'm just putting puzzle pieces together here. But it's like, well, yeah, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be too thrilled if my man, you think she was blind to the fact that her man was making eyes and drooling over another woman? I'm sorry, but that sounds sus. I actually didn't know about the child thing, but if it's true, then I agree with your take. But she's been talking nonstop about Tupac, and it's super disrespectful. I'm not advocating for this woman. Just because he made a bad decision doesn't mean that she also needs to make bad decisions and treat him in this fashion. I mean, I agree with that. I believe that, when you love somebody, you don't try to hurt them and disrespect them and emasculate them in front of the crowds. There's nothing to be gained by that. Yeah, well, he literally said himself, he saw another woman and knew he was destined to be with her. Said he loved his wife, but he knew he was meant to be with that other woman. So sorry, but I just can't get on board with all these men on the internet that are be like, man, she is trash. She's a total B. She has taken his masculinity away from him. He asked for it. Should she do it? Of course not. Absolutely not. Just because he did something bad doesn't mean that she deserves to do this to him. But I'm just saying, like, anyway. Preach. It's not, I do. I wish the whole family would reconcile. I really do. Nobody is good in that situation, but I think they take his side because she uses the situation. Yes, exactly. She's not a good person. I think we all agree with that. Unfortunately, it's another Hollywood marriage, so you never know what's yeah. Yeah, and because there's children involved, I would of course want it to be a happy marriage. Gone fishing. They're both trash. Yeah, it's sad that people become this way. I've heard some. I remember enjoying Will Smith stuff growing up. And he's still a phenomenal actor, handsome man, talented, but mm, 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 mm. He gave her masculine. Yeah, that's the other thing too. He's continuous to make these bad choices, and I yeah, it's really sad, really really sad. Mike likes tacos. I believe all women. When you tell me what women are, maybe I'll agree with you. Will Smith is a great actor. Brett says yes, yes. Yeah. Has beautiful children. I mean, again, you might not agree with their lifestyle. I definitely don't. I'm, I'm not really a fan of their fashion statements. I'm not into fashion, but I'm old fashioned. But beautiful children. I mean, I find his children very mesmerizing to look at. Maybe that's just because I'm an artist and I love drawing people. But they did have make some very beautiful children. But anyway, I try not to be. I don't want to be a Hollywood drama thing here. I had to say it. I figured I'm gonna say it on my live stream, so that way I don't have too many people coming at me. Because Twitter is a place where sparks fly. But I'm just like, you guys need to get it together, because he ain't all that in a bag of chips either. I heard her say, says Mrs. Sasquatch. I heard her say in an interview today that they won't divorce, one, because he's getting too old and she has to take care of him, and they're working on things in a healing place. All right. Well, number one, I would think he'll be fine with all the money that he has made and generated and will generate for years to come. I'm pretty sure he'd be all right. And there's probably about 17 other women that would take him. So, and then to me, it's like, if you're working on healing, then you don't need to be talking to the crowds about it, If anything, if you do have to make a statement, don't be going on podcasts, but if you do have to make a statement, just be like, we realize that our family needs help and we are going to an undisclosed area to take care of our family. That's all you gotta say. It made you laugh? Exactly. That's all you gotta say. Look, there's a reason that people really like actors like Keanu Reeves and stuff like that. They don't cause all this drama. They just kind of disappear into the wind, make a really great movie, and then come back. She's got a book to sell. Oh, that's right. I did see that. Gotta make that money so she can take care of her man. Apparently, they got to get those gold-plated wheelchairs in the future, I guess. I don't know. I know it probably doesn't look like I've made a lot of progress, but just kind of putting in some highlights, some contrast here. Hopefully we enjoy what we're seeing. Okay, let's see. I said I was going to do his pants, and I did not do that. Let's see. He kind of looks a little princely, doesn't he? In my opinion, he kind of looks like he might be a little bit royal, maybe. Let's Dastian. I mean, with a name like Dastian, these cool body. They're not really. I don't think they're tattoos, but they're markings, body markings. Well, let's see. Maybe I'll make this kind of gold looking. Or what are the different kind of trees? Let's see. I was gonna make this look like. He's kind of like a moth creature, right? So I was gonna make this kind of like hair, or the fibers that moths have. You should do world building in the background. Oh, you mean like back here? You mean like writing stuff? Is that what you mean? Or let's see, I'll get some of this going on here. So I see birch. Would that look good? I'm trying to remember the different types of trees. There's cherry. like the interesting kind of barks. Cherry trees are really pretty. Birch trees are really pretty. Because if I do this in brown, it's just going to be a lot of brown. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But once again, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot with my return to the internet that I do this. So yeah, I'm planning on teaching more YouTubers how. Oh, moss. That's a great idea. Thanks. I'm going to be returning to teaching more YouTubers how to paint. Going to be reaching out to some more people. Get some of the folks that were supposed to come on a little while ago. Try to get back in contact with them and get them back on here and have some fun. I know that you guys really enjoy those streams. Got a lot of positive feedback about those streams, and I enjoy those too. I enjoy those a lot too. Your streams are so relaxing. Well, thank you. I tried. The Saturday morning ones are a lot more fun. And interesting. Like I was telling on the Rogue Attractions this evening, I had Nomi on my channel, and we got into some interesting topics, and we learned a lot about each other, about different cultures. Like, it's fantastic. I love those streams because it's just great having these conversations. I should get Mrs. Sasquatch on here. What do you guys think? Should I get her on here? Should I send her a formal invitation? Would she do it? Would she? Because as you guys know, as I say all the time, the thing with my guests is that I'll invite them. And if they say they'll be willing to do it, the great thing is that they get to paint whatever it is that they want. They just give me some ideas. I create a mock-up. And then we set to the races. Maybe she's already a fantastic artist and she just needs to join me for my arty party. By the way, next week, the 27th, I'm planning on having, because I was trying to do that too when I started, at the end of the month, I'm going to be having some guests return, and we're going to be doing random character prompt designs on the fly live with you here on the internet. And if you remember, with my wonderful guests like Maria, and I had Danny on from Comic and Cosmetics, Unlocking Lore, and even had Noom Reviews making some origami in the background. And we are going to be rolling the die once again. Hopefully, everybody that I've invited is going to come on. Some of them already have responded, so it's going to be fantastic. We're going to roll the die and just generate characters here on the spot. And we're going to be doing spooky characters. 'Tis the season for spookiness, right? We're going to be doing spooky character prompts next week, so you'll want to join us. Friday the 27th, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Be here. She says she would, but she's a horrible painter. Perfect. Then I can teach you. I will DM you. I will message you, and we will get that rolling. I'm excited. That'll be fantastic. Anything you want. Be thinking, Mrs. Sasquatch. Be thinking. It's hard for me to transition over to your name. I tell people all the time, like, when it comes to the internet, when you introduce yourself to me in a certain way with a certain name, and then either you change your name or I find out what your real name is in life, I'm like, no. It's kind of like the Rogue Attraction. I still want to call him Rogue Disney. And then when I find out that his name is Tom, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I still just always want to call him Rogue Disney. So she used to be formerly Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch. So I just... so funny the way the internet works. But yeah, next week's going to be good. You would like some sunflower? Girl, we could do sunflowers. Oh, I've already got some ideas in mind, so I'll get a mock-up and then send it to you, see if you like. And we'll talk. I'll have my people contact you. See, Spartan Flash Century says, yeah, I'm cool with being called Flash by my internet friends, right? You just kind of get used to it too. I mean, mine's a rather lengthy name, but I've gotten used to the people calling me Dreaming Tabitha. Like, it's just kind of become another name for me. Deranged Lunatic! It's good to see you drawing again. Thank you. It's good to see you commenting again. Also for like the streams where we do random character prompts, I would love for you guys to join me on your own and then like post it on social media, Instagram, Twitter, something like that, and you tag me and see it. Like when we generate, we literally are doing it on the fly. We are all learning together. We want to create an atmosphere, a safe space, if you will, to use the modern day vernacular. But honestly, we want to create a community where no matter what your background is in art, whether you have one or you don't, maybe you're just curious about having an experience, you just want to give it a try, you can learn with us, because it's a well-known secret that artists themselves are not necessarily, just because we're good at art, let me just put it this way, that sounds terrible, but just because we're good at art only because we practice all the time doesn't mean that we're good with on-the-fly creation. It's a struggle for some of us. And so we would love for you guys to join us next week. Like, bring whatever medium you want. The Noob Reviews did origami. That was really cool. She made a troll. The theme was it had to be a troll. So she made a troll out of origami. I typically draw. Danny does makeup. Maria does watercolor sometimes. You could do wood carving. You could draw with us. Come with us next week as we do our character prompts, and let's grow and learn together. You will find support here. Like, you won't find people, if you decide to post your artwork, you're not going to find a group of people that say, wow, that sucks, I could do better. In fact, you'll find the complete opposite. We would love for you to take that step, take that risk of trying to create something. And we would be there to support you. You'll find a community of artists here who just want to see you grow and learn. There are so many people now that they're older and they're like, I always wanted to draw. All right, let's get to it. Let's do it. Look, I didn't start doing this stuff till I was older. I'm not old, but by the standards of things, like if you want to get anywhere, doing anything, you gotta start young and have all this education, all this practice, the supplies, balderdash. It just takes, like anything, it just takes time and practice, being willing to learn and study. Yeah, it takes work. That's why it's called artwork. But it's worth it. You gotta start somewhere, and you'll be surprised at how well you can really do it. I know so many people, when they come on the stream, man, I can't even draw stick figures. Well, then learn how to draw stick figures. You'll be okay. You'll be just like the rest of us. I couldn't do this a couple of years ago. I still don't even know what I'm doing. I still don't even know what I'm doing. As soon as I'm done with this third commission, I will definitely take you up on that. Been meaning to break in this Wacom one I got a couple of weeks back. Commissions are awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. Gotta head out, my friend. Have a wonderful evening. You too, Mrs. Sasquatch. I'll be talking to you. We're going to set that up. It is going to be a blast. I'm already like declaring it. I'm predestinating it. Like, we're going to have a great time. Thank you for your willingness. Well, so Brett, you just basically just follow along with us. Like, you just kind of hang out with us in the chat. You just draw. Like, so I used to go to, let me put it this way. I used to go to this cafe where I used to live. And if you maybe heard me tell this story before, but it was called Geeksboro Cafe because the town where it was at was in Greensboro, and they called it Geeksboro. Such a cool place. They had like a TARDIS. They had video games everywhere, board games. They had Pokemon Pokemon themed drinks. Star Wars nights, it was fantastic. And every Tuesday, I believe it was, or maybe it was Thursdays, and that's why I've picked Thursdays. But every Thursday, they would have drawing nights and they would have character prompts. And you didn't have to be good at it. You just came and you met with your fellow people and you just sat and you drew things, you colored things. Didn't matter if it was good or not, because you always get better. Every time that you put a pencil or a paintbrush to your canvas of choice, you're automatically getting better. If you guys play video games, you understand XP points, literally getting better every time you do this. Getting experience every time. What to do, what not to do, all of it matters. All of it counts. And so Brett, yeah, come on. Like, come out, hang out with us next week and watch with us and showcase what you got. I'm sure you can do amazing things. Designed an entire MMA dojo for a friend of mine who is opening his own school. Wow. Now just trying to get the lighting right. Lighting is important. So important. You can't prove it, Bias. Your artwork looks very good. Well, thank you. Again, takes time and practice. I doubt myself all the time. It only got better eventually. Like, let me show you some of my other stuff. This print didn't come out as nice as I hoped it would, but like, this is my Ahsoka picture. Whatever you might think of the TV show, I was enamored by the character design of this person. And I think that Rosario Dawson displayed her beautifully. She was the perfect canvas to put this color palette and costume on. But like if you would look at some of my old stuff and see where I've come from now, I'm a Canadian bear. But if you would look at my old stuff compared to what I can do now, like, this didn't come overnight. This came with a lot of like tears and patience and frustration, misunderstandings, just a total loss for whatever. And then suddenly you practice one thing and you're like, well, dang, that worked. Why did that work? Why did that work? And it's like, well, because I practiced. I learned what to do and learned what not to do. So that'd be the same for everybody else. My grandfather is a trained sculptor. He sculpts his sculptures. I'm sorry, I can't read this evening. My grandfather is a trained sculptor. His sculptures look like something out of ancient Rome. He's never monetized or displayed his art. They are just sitting in his sheds. Isn't that amazing? People, while that's a shame, it's also beautiful. People who create artwork because they have to. Like, you just can't help it. You have to make artwork, even if you don't care if anybody ever sees it. I hope one day that somebody gets to appreciate his artwork the way that you do, Gone Fishing. I really like the paper you're using. Was that a coffee stain? Actually, the book came this way. Isn't that amazing? It was sent to me. And that's why I decided to turn this book into like a field guide, because I knew there would be roughness and imperfections that would make it look like it was old. And like we all had been out on a grand adventure exploring this world and discovering these creatures. Thank you. Appreciate it. I enjoyed Ahsoka. There were moments of it that I did visually. I found it very stunning. There were a lot of images that I was like, I want to paint that so badly. Grr, I'm a Canadian bear. Exactly. All right. Let's see. Let me put these back. I'm trying to remain organized whilst I do this. Okay, so moss. So we would need, I'd have to work backwards because this paper won't allow me to do that. So we're going to start with some highlights. See if we can finish this guy tonight. I don't know if I can. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I might leave him unfinished. I know that that's not satisfying to the eye. But again, I like so we're just gonna, since we're not really coming up with a story this evening for this character because he already has a story, maybe we'll come up with a story for why we're not going to finish this art piece. I know that sounds kind of counterproductive, but hear me out. So, we're in this world. We haven't discovered the name of the world that we're in yet. We have not made it yet. we will make it in the next couple of weeks as we fill these pages with some beautiful landscapes. But what if you and I were traveling out and about in this beautiful, rich world, very strange world, dangerous world, and we see these creatures, see these people, you might even call some of them. Some of them look like us, some of them don't. And while we were out and about trying to capture their likenesses in this field guide, while I was sitting in the field and you were describing what you saw to me, maybe we were hiding in the forest and we had to hide behind a tree, and you would look out behind the tree every now and then, trying to stay a safe distance from whatever creature was nearby. And you told me what kinds of yellows and greens to use. We were out and about, and we saw this character, Dastian. We overheard these characters talking. Can you believe it? It's memes of destruction. Talk about a superhero in word form. But while we were creating this character, overhearing the words that these characters were speaking, because we just couldn't believe, hey, those little butterfly-looking creatures, they're not animals. Why, they look like people. So we decided to sneak a little closer, trying to be very careful not to be discovered. And suddenly we could make out the words that these people, not people, were saying. And that's how we discovered that this creature right here, this little person, his name is Dastian. And you and I looked at each other and we thought, whoa, that's a beautiful name. He's a really beautiful looking fairy. But then as we listen really closely, we realize they're not called fairies. In fact, we find out later on that they get offended being called fairies. Fairies are foolish human stories that they tell their children. These are real people. They're not fairies. They're Volans. Now later on, when you and I make friends with these people, we realize that they're very offended by this term. But for now, we just know them as little fairy folk. While we're carefully listening and you're telling me what colors, wings Dastian has, it's when we find out he doesn't really have a family. And that the clans are at odds with each other. And Dastian knows that he has a destiny out here somewhere. But he's not sure if he could really find it because he's too beautiful. He's too brightly colored. That's when I kind of pause and put my pencil down after you tell me that you heard this. And it's like, too beautiful. It's preposterous. How could they say that about his character? He's amazing to look at. And that's when you tell me, well, that's probably the problem. Maybe they don't want to be seen. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Brightly colored things have a habit of being spotted first, which was the reason we discovered these little fairy folk, these Volans. It's because we saw Dastian first. So as we continue to listen, trying to hide in the long grass, and the sun is starting to slowly sink into the sky, and we trying to figure out what exactly these little creatures are and what they're all about and how do they live. They're not quite human. They're not quite like us, but sounds like in a way that they kind of are. They have their own problems that's trying to figure out. We find out that Destian's not very liked by either group, and that they call him the Wayward Pilgrim. It's not a very happy name. It sounds really neat. But it sounds like a person who's always struggling and always lost, always wondering where they belong, never really knowing, yet somehow deep inside knowing that you should belong somewhere. You just don't seem to belong with the people that you're with, but they're the only people that you're like. I keep bugging you to tell me, okay, what color are his eyes? You tell me, I don't know. Leave me alone. I can't see. He's too small. Because you're trying to listen to what the other clanspeople are saying, but I'm trying to hurry up and finish coloring so that way we can move on. Because he's too beautiful that I have to start getting as many colors down as possible. Like, what color? What color is his hair? You tell me, I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's getting too dark. It's getting too dark to see. And I look at you, well, in this light, does it look blonde? Does it look brown? Does it look blue? You shush me. Suddenly there's an argument that breaks out. Not between you and I. Surely not. But between the Volans. Destian seems to have asked them a question that has made them all very upset. Was it a question, though? Maybe it was just a statement. Either way, a harsh buzzing starts filling the air. This kind of sounds like a bunch of bees. That's when I kind of stop drawing there just for a second. Stop coloring. Try to calm myself and not panic. Maybe they're coming for us. Maybe they discovered us. We kind of just sit there, hoping they can't see us. We don't know. Can these creatures see in the dark? Can they sense our presence? Do they know that we've been eavesdropping on them this entire time? We don't know. I kind of swallow and continue coloring in the darkness, not really sure that I have the right colors anymore. You're getting a little nervous too, but you're trying to crawl a little bit closer, just a little bit closer. And I try to whisper, do you hear anything else? Above all the buzzing noises that are going on? I don't hear anything from you. It's a little quiet, except for the buzzing. So I quickly grab some black, because that's really the only thing that I can see in the darkness right now. Some black. Just kind of go really quickly over stuff, because I can sense we're going to need to leave here in a second. So I quickly rush over everything. Not really happy with what I've done because I can't really tell. Is this what the way it should look? Is this what he even looks like? Because you are not giving me details that I would really like. And I'm starting to let you know that this is not coming along. And suddenly you've come back and you're by my side. And you're saying, I think we need to get out of Dodge. I'm like, but he's not finished yet. I don't even know what color his hair is. We don't even know what color his skin is. You're like, I don't think it matters. I think we need to get out. And so we might never know, or maybe we will later on, what the rest of Destian looks like. Because we weren't able to complete his look, his appearance. Because you and I needed to rush to safety. Because the buzzing was getting quite loud. We don't think they knew that we were there. But we weren't going to take a chance. pretty happy with what we did, but we might fill this up with more stuff later on. Sometimes you suggest to me later on that you think he had purple eyes. Some of you think that he had color-changing hair, somewhat iridescent in the last rays of the sunlight. But one thing that I didn't draw on here, but I just didn't have the chance because you weren't giving me enough details of what it looked like. All you did was tell me that he had what looked like a necklace around his neck. That looked really fancy and important. But we'll never really know what that looked like. Maybe it was a priceless artifact. Maybe it was a trinket that was homemade. But we'll never know unless we meet Destian again. And hopefully we will. Hopefully we'll find the wayward pilgrim on his way, wandering home. And that, friends, is what happened when you and I went walking in the forest, and why this photo, or this picture, will never be finished. So we just didn't have the time to see what it looked like because the sun was fading and because there was a nest, a hive of Volans coming at us, or so we thought, but better to play it safe than sorry. But anyway, friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. I really appreciate you coming by and commenting and liking this video. It means the world to me. It really does. I was honestly afraid that coming back to YouTube and streaming again would be something of a disaster. And if I'm going to be frank with you. But I appreciate your support, and I'm going to be coming back, doing my best to be faithful again, and producing some more videos and having some more live streams. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun rest of the month and these oncoming holiday seasons. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this episode this evening. And next week, I'll probably put a poll in the community chat of what we should work on next week. But until then, again, thanks so much for stopping by. I wish you guys the best upcoming weekend that you have. I know a lot of you work hard. I know a lot of you have struggles and things that you're trying to figure out in your own life. And if some of you are like me and you're artists that are struggling sometimes to find your way, whether it's the colors you use, the style, don't give up on your artwork and don't get too frustrated because we're all there. We've all been there. And we're all still there. So it's okay. Just keep drawing, keep coloring, and one day you're going to get to where you really love what it is that you make, not what somebody else makes, but what you make. Thank you all for being here. I see some of you coming in, rolling chairs, and more Mega, and the Forgotten Man, and Hatosaurus. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that, again, you all have a wonderful, wonderful upcoming weekend. You guys deserve it. And if you're working this weekend, just give it 100% because it's going to pay off in the end. But anyway, catch you guys next time. Be sure to check out the links in the description box below. See you guys later.